Let's get to the video, shall we?
What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. You guys can probably already tell that it is going down. Just by that title alone, you guys are definitely going to want to check this one out. So we got a major breaking news update coming in that case straight out of Minnesota where the anti-ICE activist attempted to attack an ICE agent with her vehicle. And now we have a video footage surfacing that many believe will lead directly to that agent being exonerated completely, guys. And I'm excited to get into this one, so we're hop straight into it. All I ask that you please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And without further ado, let's hop straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
So, Jesse, you just said this woman is in severe crisis. She was boxed in. If you watch the whole
No,
video,
she was boxed in.
that's what she was boxed
No,
in.
I said the team was boxed in.
Okay, the team was boxed in by once she moved over, she pulled to the side, and then she actually waves another ICE officer past her, right? So she's in such severe crisis that she can be polite in traffic and say, you go ahead, and then you hear her actually audibly saying, I'm pulling out, right? She signals exactly what she's doing. She starts to move forward, and everyone should go and watch. The New York Times has about 3.5 minutes of footage coming from every angle, and this is what they brought up to President Trump when they were meeting with him last night when he said, the officer, the brave officer, and after he tweeted, it's hard to believe that the officer is alive when he walked away completely unscathed. We can see that on video as well. But the footage contradicts the administration on almost every level of what they've said. Renee Good waving the vehicle by. The officer was to the side of the car when he drew the gun. He leaned over the hood for the first shot. You can see that on the angle too. That he fired 2 more shots at arm's length on a 90-degree angle. And it almost doesn't matter, actually, what she was doing because she didn't have another weapon. According to DOJ policy, which they should be in compliance with, it says deadly force may not be used solely to prevent the escape of a fleeing suspect. Firearms must be discharged at a moving vehicle unless a person is threatening deadly force by other means than the vehicle. And no other means of defense exist, including moving out of the path. He could clearly move out of the path because he did, and that's why he was unscathed in this.
He was not unscathed. He's in a critical condition.
For Secretary Noem or the president.
Hold on. He was in critical condition. She got him, okay? Before this happened, 6 months, he was already dragged by one like this before. But dumbasses like this stupid bitch right here who believes what the damn Democrats tell her. She's not a Republican, she's a Democrat. The way she's talking. That's not what it was. If you flee, they had the right to use the weaponry. If you use your car as a deadly weapon, what she did, they had the right to defend themselves, damn it. Plain and simple. Back to the video.
For the vice president to say, this is a tragedy, we need to investigate this. And not only do we need to investigate it, we need the FBI to work with local officials on the ground in Minnesota, which apparently
FBI didn't
they did
help.
not want to do. And Governor Walz was talking about that as well. That would have been the responsible thing to do here. And talking as if there is no Potenis officer is at fault with what happened.
He wasn't at fault. He was a victim. He self-defended himself. Damn. And Tim Walz, he's the reason why it's happening. Duh. I swear, man. Democrats and the politicians, Democrats in the news, and Democrats and people, regular voters, are fucking idiotic dumbass. The whole fucking Democrat party, from the Democrat I hate about all the way down to people who voted for them, are all fucking idiots. Back to this video.
Like you're getting a little bit ahead of your skis, especially when there is so much footage that contradicts the story that the administration is giving.
Alright, folks, I'll tell you what, that is one of my least favorite voices on Fox News, The 5.
I can't
Jessica
stand her.
Tarlov attempting to normalize this radical behavior coming from these loonies on the left. I mean, she speaks as if this woman was justified to be out there antagonizing and harassing ICE agents on the streets all day long. This has to stop because this is not getting us anywhere. It's just making things worse. And this next one right here is where their narrative really snaps for these loonies on the left, because what you're about to see next proves that this is not a one-off situation. This is a pattern that we're now seeing.
I agree with you, Jonathan. I think there's some details we don't know yet, and we'll have to learn more about it. What strikes me is, first of all, it's extremely sad and unfortunate that someone died. I mean, there's political fighting, and disagreements aside, it's terrible. You don't want people to die in law enforcement situations or otherwise. But it strikes me that we are undergoing an epidemic of political vigilantism right now. Why are people showing up in vehicles, in convoys, not just in Minneapolis, but all over the country, in an effort to obstruct lawful federal law enforcement activities? This is not an isolated incident. We have had hundreds of car rammings against ICE agents all over the country. According to DHS, this lady in this car today, along with other vehicles, had been tracking ICE agents around. Why are people believing that they can drive their car into a federal law enforcement situation and that is an appropriate thing to do? I understand they don't like the fact that these agents are enforcing existing immigration law, but that's not how we change laws in this country. If you don't like a law, you talk to the politicians. You don't drive your car into the middle of a building or a law enforcement situation that's being occupied by the people who are simply there to enforce the law. If I don't like how much the IRS is charging me in taxes, I don't drive my car into the Treasury Department and try to run somebody over. I call my congressman. Political vigilantism is being encouraged by Democratic officials like the Lieutenant Governor of Minnesota, Peggy Flanagan, who earlier this year told people to, quote, put your bodies on the line, and Tim Walz calling these guys Gestapo all year. What do you think happens when you radicalize a base of people about this?
Scott Jennings with the best breakdown of this thing yet, where he says these loonies on the left continue to encourage folks to get hands-on with federal agents and fight back. This should not be the case because it's not getting us anywhere. It's not making any progress towards stopping ICE agents from being on the streets, just making matters worse. They need to give that up. Now, keep that same thought in mind here, because the same Democrats that have been warning us about chaos coming from President Trump and his administration are about to turn around and deny that it even exists on their side of the aisle.
I don't know a lot about her. What I do know is that she's a victim and doesn't appear to have been doing anything wrong. She went through a 2 to 3 point turn, clearly trying to leave the vicinity where the ICE agents were located. And you've got this narrative that is coming out of this Trump administration that is immediately saying, one, that the ICE agents were acting in self-defense, and two, that the victim was a domestic terrorist. That's a loadable.
Well, I was struck by a few things. First of all, it's horrifying to watch. And to think about this 37-year-old woman drops her kid off at school, not involved in protest activity or anything, seems to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. But at one point, she's waving other cars to come on past, trying to make sure that she's not in the way, although she's been pulled over. And then you see her trying to turn away from these officers, and the shots fired into the car. The wheels of the car pointed not towards the agent, but away from the agent. That's what leaps out to me from the video.
Now, I don't believe any of this for 1 second, but I'm just going to play along with the narratives coming from these loonies on the left, the Democrats and leadership, and say, okay, maybe this was a Minnesota mom who had just dropped her child off at school. She's not active or participating in any of these protests, anti-ICE riots. This is just a regular run-of-the-mill citizen that was caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. But this right here is where all the talking points collapse, because the body cam footage does not care about political spin. I'll tell you that right now.
Every morning, just so you know, it'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the car.
Get out of the car.
I believe you can call me a whole list of things, but you definitely cannot call me crazy to believe this whole situation could have been totally avoided. It started all with that false sense of entitlement coming from her significant other, whoever that woman was standing outside of the vehicle. You can even hear law enforcement screaming commands saying, hey, stop, turn your vehicle off, do not reverse, do not drive, get out of the car. And you hear a significant other saying, drive, baby, drive, encouraging it all. And this is where it starts. These folks have to take a bit of accountability. They say these ICE agents targeted this woman, but you can see right here, this was no innocent mother. This was someone who was actively engaging in these protests, obstructing justice, and antagonizing these agents. Folks like this, they never learn their lesson. And just when we thought the rhetoric from these loonies on the left couldn't get any more reckless, that Jasmine Crockett one-ups them all, deciding to drag an actual tragedy into all of this.
I remember when Charlie Kirk got killed. Do you remember what our response was? Our response wasn't to sit there and pretend like it was okay. Is it okay because you have a badge? Because the last time I checked, allegedly no one is above the law. Can y'all not just have a little bit of courage and humanity? A child.
Here goes the waterworks with the Democrats. Y'all got the person killed. Y'all paid her to do this shit. Y'all paying these people to do this riot and shit, okay? Stop fucking acting like y'all don't... Oh, I'm sad they died. No, y'all Democrats pay these people to protest, to riot. So, anybody responsible for the blood that's been spilled is y'all Democrats. Stop getting like, no, you don't. You don't give a fuck about the American people, Democrats. You don't give a fuck about nobody. You really care about people, you will not give money to these terrorists. You will not fund the Somalians. You'll make America great, but you don't give a fuck about America. Y'all haven't given a fuck about America since 1880. Since the 1800s. Y'all do not care about nothing. And y'all still don't care about nothing. All we do here is 2026. Y'all didn't give a damn about 1880. Matter of fact, I'm going to break it down for y'all. I'm going to break it down and show you how, when the Democrat Party started. Because I want people to understand something. I'm going to let you know how long the Democrat Party has been around. They've been around for 198 years. That's how long the Democrat Party has been around. They were started in 1832 to 1850. From that right there is 198 years. And they still don't give two shits about American people. Okay? That's how fucking long they've been around. And here's another thing. There's another thing I'm about to say right here about the Democrat Party too. Here we go, right here. I'm about to put another bullet out for you. I'm going to put another nail in the coffin for the Democrat Party. Here you go. Here's another website here about this true right here. Alright. Republican President Nikki Haley failed to use the word celery when discussing the cause of the Civil War and the fallout from the mishap. Had lots of apologies taken it. And this is right here. Some current Democrats wanted to expand slavery out westward, while the Republican Party opposed it at the time of its creation. But the division of the political parties wasn't really the driver between who wanted slavery and who didn't. It was the geographic division between North and South. Okay, the Democrats trying to use the Civil War about slavery, but it wasn't really about slavery, okay? The Democrats wanted slavery. They wanted to expand it to the western states, like California, Utah, Colorado, all the western countries out there of the United States border. Okay? It was mainly about resources. I'm tying this in with the thing right here too. I want y'all to understand how evil the Democrat Party is. As you can see right now, they're using people as pawns, decoys, shields, crash dummies, kamikazes, cannon fire. This is how evil the Democrat Party is. Right here. Here's another thing. Democrats want to expand slavery into the Western Territories. Walker posted December 28, 2023 on X. Republicans opposed it. Walker point similar to that to be that today's voters should take their into account while making decisions now, many years later. But question is largely one for and from the history books. And the narrow claims does not provide great insight for the political picture today. So we are setting aside of the truth meter in favor of a deeper division in history. Here we go right here. Upon his election, southern states dominated by Democrats seceded from the United States of America and formed a confederacy. They created the Ku Klux Klan. Dick wrote in December 29, 2023 email, Jefferson Davis served as the president of the Confederacy. Previously, he was elected to the House of Representatives and Senate as a Democrat from Mississippi. His vice president was Alex Henderson, a Democrat from Georgia. The Republican Party, known today, was formed in 1854. With some sources and Republican Party itself pointed to Repton, Wisconsin as its birthplace. At the time of its founding, the country was barely divided into slavery. The Republican Party formed on the heels of the Whigs, which saw members descend into the Southern Democrat anti-slavery Whigs join the Republican Party, according to the timeline completed by PBS. In 1820, the Missouri government of the division of the county between the pro-slavery South and the anti-slavery North. According to a May 2020 U.S. Today fact check, the composed was installed more than 40 years before the Civil War in 1861. In May of 1854, Democrats in Congress passed the Kansas City-Nebraska Act, which included a provision that will allow residents of the new Kansas and Nebraska territory to decide whether to allow slavery. The act officially repealed the Missouri Congress of 1820 and set into motion the Republican Party creation. So, there you have it. Back in 1854, May, Democrats in Congress passed the Kansas-Nebraska Act, which was the creation, which helped form the Republican Party to fight against the Democrats. The Democrats wanted slavery still. Way before the Civil War began, they still wanted slavery. And there I'm going to say another thing. When the election comes around, the Democrats go to the black community. Because a lot of blacks don't know the history, the true history of what's going on. The Democrats will use the word slavery. I have seen this firsthand at some of these rallies the Democrats have. They say, Republicans are slave owners. Yeah. Everybody goes ballistic about it. But they do not understand. They still enslaving the black community, the Democrats are, by promising this, promising that, using this, using that. To get their votes. And when they got the votes, you don't see them coming out no more. In 1923, Republicans helped blacks get their own Wall Street. In 1924, it got blown up by the Democratic Party. Coincidence? No. Not coincidence. Back to the video here. That was just a little tidbit of showing y'all about the Democrat Party. They don't give a fuck about nobody. And it keeps on going about all the Northern Democrat leaders like Senator Douglas sort to rally the party behind the idea of popular celebratory, meaning they want to be away from January 5th of the same year and everything. This is right here. So for the cap, the general location of Democrats did not really influence their choices. The Republican Party did. So yeah, that's just how it is right here. and everything, but people still gonna be out there crying about it. And also, yeah, it's a really bunch of BS. I'm trying to get back to where I was at now. I lost the video here. I don't want to. Oh, here we go. And James the Crockett, the little whiny bitch here. We'll get back to her, shall we?
Can someone please send a memo to Jasmine Crockett that no one's buying the fake tears that she's selling? I think we've all seen a better acting in Tubi movies than what we're getting right here with the Jasmine Crockett, and shame on her. How dare she bring a real tragedy like Charlie Kirk into this one? This fake outrage drummed up by the left-wing media outlets and these loonies on the left. This does not equate or compare to what happened with Charlie Kirk, and she better watch out because she is definitely barking up the wrong tree there. We've seen exactly what's happened to others that continue to try to come out and minimize what's happened to Charlie Kirk. We cannot continue to allow this coming from these folks on the left. Now, I want you guys to brace yourself because what you're about to hear, this isn't anger or hate. It's something that's far more disturbing. You have to see this one.
So, I mean, I'm just walking around kind of just dazed-eyed because I was like, I don't know if it's the right thing to do. It feels kind of wrong being here in some way. I don't know why.
Why do you think, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, like, where that stems from. Like, I mean, part of it is being, like, a white woman that I'm privileged, and I have a lot of privilege. So I feel like white tears are not always something that's helpful or necessary when Black and brown people have been experiencing this for a long time. This isn't new for them, and so I don't know if that makes any sense in that way.
How did you decide that you should be here? Or are you still figuring that out?
Well, I work like 2 miles from here, so driving by, I was like, I'm here. I'm 2 miles. I can stop.
If you're ever wondering how Somali fraudsters got away with over $9 billion in taxpayer funding from the state of Minnesota, your answer's right here in this woman. She is an example of what we're dealing with over in the state of Minnesota. These folks, they are so scared to be called out or called prejudiced. It does not make sense to me. They're apologizing for simply existing. They would apologize if they uncovered the Somali fraud and called these folks out saying that they don't want to offend the Somali community. We need to give up. This type of charade, this act that they're putting on, it really does disgust me, this mindset and mentality. Hopefully she's not teaching that to her kids. And before the left-wing spin cycle can even get a hold of this one, I want to show you guys the bombshell that brings accountability right back into the picture. Check this one out.
Yeah, so I actually have already made those referrals. The DOJ did confirm receipt of them. We actually know, according to witness testimony and then a number of other pieces of evidence brought forward, that both individuals knew about the fraud, that they either shut down investigations or intentionally ignored the red flags that were coming out. And then also, too, there's also allegedly a recording with Attorney General Ellison that's actually stating that he would basically ignore recommendations of HHS if he could get support from the Somali community. And so what we know right now is both of these individuals, I don't think that they are the top dogs, but I do think that this is the tip of the iceberg. And again, the White House just announcing their task force to go after this. I mean, I do think that this is widespread, but also I want to point out the fact that when you have elected officials, specifically, for example, in Minnesota, with the governor and the attorney general that are knowingly ignoring this is happening right underneath their noses, they're telling people or they are firing people that are speaking out about it, it's completely wrong, and this is corruption. I don't care if this was just a Democrat, I don't care if it was a Republican, I would have the same response. And I do look forward to what the investigation yields by the Department of Justice, and then I also look forward to the Department of Justice bringing criminal charges, because I think, as you're seeing now, Maria, they definitely exist.
Love the diligent work coming from Representative Anna Paulina Luna. She is very focused. She is not letting all the noise distract her from what's really going on in the state of Minnesota. There is a widespread Somali fraud problem, and I'm glad that she's still trying to get to the bottom of it. Tweeting out saying, based on the testimony and evidence, it's clear that both Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota and AG Ellison were either knowingly complicit in fraud or ran cover to hide it. Either case is corruption. I look forward to criminal charges from the DOJ. And that's what we all need to see right here. Someone actually being held accountable for real crimes. And right on cue, instead of answering America's questions, the Dems are changing targets entirely. This latest one tells us about everything we need to know. I think I'm going to leave you guys here with this one.
I rise today on the House floor with a heavy heart for the family and the community of Renee Nicole Good. My heart is heavy not just because of the unabashed and violent killing that happened last night by an ICE agent in Minneapolis, because I'm also sad for our country to see the Vice President of the United States and officials impugn a young woman who leaves behind her community and an orphan child. This is not our country. Shame on you. To those of you that are continuing to provide cover for this lawless, unconstitutional, abusive, and violent administration, shame on you. I will be joining to file articles of impeachment against Secretary Noem. Enough is enough.
Yo, there we have it, guys. Oh my goodness. And I was really blown away by that last clip of the New Mexico Democratic representative now targeting DHS Secretary Kristi Noem with articles of impeachment as a result of what's happened in Minnesota. But these folks were completely in the wrong. It makes no sense why the Democrats continue to drum up this fake outrage and try to pit the narrative against Trump's administration, ICE agents, DHS, and Border Patrol. It doesn't make sense whatsoever because they're not the ones to blame. If they're looking for someone to blame, they should probably start looking in the mirror. It starts with the Democrats in leadership, these left-wing media outlets that continue with the very inflammatory and dangerous rhetoric against our ICE agents and Border Patrol. You can't start with anyone else. I don't know anyone else could be blamed but them, because they don't pay attention to who's actually out there, who's in their audience. They don't know that. You never know. And that's why you always have to be careful when you do have a platform and a large audience as to what you're saying, what you're putting out there into the sphere, because a lot of people are not okay. Nowadays, it's 2026. It's safe to say that some people aren't all the way there, and they may take your message the wrong way, just like we've seen right there with the tragedy unfolding. I cannot say that this is on the behalf of the ICE agents and they are wrong and at fault right here, because this was totally justified based off of what I've been seeing, the clips that have been surfacing, especially that latest one with the body cam footage. That finally reveals that this was not some innocent Minnesota mom that was at question here. This was someone who was an anti-ICE activist, actively antagonizing and harassing these agents all day long, until she had finally went to the tipping point and wanted to take it to the next step, even being encouraged by her significant other. I don't know how else they want us to see this situation.